So a couple things that you're going to end up doing with this is you're going to have a database. Generally speaking, for most email testing, A/B testing, you want somewhere between 500 and 1,000 people in your database. The reality is you're wanting to try to get to a specific portion of your audience to test with, a very small portion, and you're going to test certain things on them. One of those things is going to be your email subject line. That's really where you're going to pop, where you're going to get people to pull them in. So you're going to test that on a small percentage of your database. You're going to pick probably maybe 15%, maybe less of that, 10%, and you're going to send 2 different emails. One's going to have one specific subject line with the same stuff on the inside, and the other one is going to have the same guts of the email, but you're going to have a different subject line for that one. How do I come up with these subject lines? Where can I come up with these things? I can't really think of these things on my own. Secret sauce, ChatGPT. When you go to ChatGPT, you can go in with the prompts and tell it specifically, I want to write a email for subject line A/B testing, and tell the system to give you 2 different subject lines, and it'll spit that out for you. And you're going to put those in. You can also use ChatGPT to write your entire email as well. You put in the specific prompts of what you want it to say, and it'll dump it all out for you, copy and paste and throw it in. The reason why you're going to do this A/B testing is, like we said before, people will only open up emails if it's important to them. And we are now kind of learned to look at those subject lines and who it comes from. And if we see in the subject line that it's, hold on, we're on phone, seeing a subject line that it doesn't seem very valuable to us, we're not going to open it. So really what we're doing is we're sending out one email with 2 different subject lines to test which one will open up more. And so you'll send that out to your test subjects, like I said, about 10% of your database roughly, and you're going to give it 5 days, 10 days, and see what the open rates actually are. See the open rates, what they actually are of those test subjects. And the highest open rate, you're going to send out to the rest of your database. So that's how you're going to do this email testing. Do you want to say a little bit more on that?
Yeah. How often are you testing your emails?
I would probably say, and it's going to kind of sound a little funky with it, once a month. Because the things change, we know our people react to different things at different times of the month and different times of the year. So it really depends on you setting up a specific email frequency and coming up with that content and realizing this is completely different of what I've sent before. I need to test this to make sure that I've written it correctly and it's informative to the group of people I'm sending it to.
And make sure, you guys, if you have specific questions, utilize the chat, because we definitely want to answer your questions.
Yeah, it's kind of hard for us. We don't have it up on the screen. So if you do chat in, type in the chat box so we can see that real quick.
So what about, every audience is different, choosing your audience?
Well, really, you're going to talk different ways to your different audiences. I'm going to talk to my sphere of influence way differently than I'm going to talk to my leads. I'm still building that relationship with the leads. So really, you want to be open and show who you are to your leads. You want them to like you, because essentially that's what it comes down to. People will work with people that they like. So you want to be a little bit more personable with them to kind of get them an idea of who you are. You also want to send off specific valuable information to them, because at the end of the day, they need to know you know what you're doing and what you're talking about. So you're going to probably A/B test on not necessarily the value portion, the informational portion, just the subject line on those, but on your personal stuff, I wouldn't A/B test on that at all. That's going to be strictly about you and who you are. There's no reason to test on that kind of stuff.
Okay. So when it comes to building your database, we preach database all the time. You have to have a database to email to. So naturally, I don't know, not everyone here is from KW. We know Command is like ultra in technology when it comes to organizing things. So realistically, you guys, if you're not with KW and you're with another brokerage, you just need to be looking at what you have available and how to separate out exactly your spheres, right? Because you don't want to be sending your investors, first-time home buyer stuff, that type of thing.
So you really have an easy way of figuring out your database. Everyone's got one of these. Your database is here. So if you don't have one already, you do. You have one on your phone. And all those people on your phone, you should be putting into your database. Regardless of what system you're using, that's where you should be putting them. And then once you have them in your database, you can then break down those people into sphere of influence, vendors, leads, that kind of thing. And this way now you have specific groups of people where now you can send that content to.
Okay. Now, you like to teach on 36 touches. Can you talk a little bit about that?
So 36 touch is a way that we get in front of our database on a routine and an efficient schedule. This is not just a real estate thing. This is any kind of sales or any kind of business where you're facing the public. You want to routinely get in front of them. 36 touch is basically you want to touch them 36 times. And when we mean touch, it's phone calls, emails, text messages, event invites, and that's pretty much the basis of a 36 touch. And out of those 4 or 5 different groups, you want to touch your people 36 times throughout the year. The reason for that is we want to stay top of mind of whatever industry in. When they think of real estate, we want them to think of us. When they think of loans, we want them to think of us. When we have a car wash, we want them to think of us. So it's super important that we stay routinely in front of them. And part of that is holiday emails, which is something that I set up here at the office, monthly text messages, invites to different events. Here at our office, we have the shred day that we do every year. And then we have some kind of Halloween, either trunk or treat or office hunt that we do. So we have 2 events that we send out to everyone as well. On top of that, you're going to send them, if you're in the real estate world or even loans, you're going to send out some kind of market update as well. Whether that be once a month or once a quarter, you decide on what you think is best for you and your business, but you should be sending out some kind of informational stuff to them as well.
So that comes from providing value.
Yes.
And so different things for value is what's most important. It doesn't have to be real estate. When they think of you, you don't want them to always think, oh, great, here comes another real estate thing. Providing something of value could be something motivational, right? You just want to get something from them that they're, as a person, we're in the relationship business, you guys. So the people that we're reaching them on a relationship status. For instance, I do things like, my marriage after God, or I do things that have to do with motivation. I reach out to a lot of, broken type individuals. So I will create something, and I use ChatGPT quite a bit as well, where I will create something that's at least going to penetrate them so that they reach out to me just to have a conversation. And then at the end of our conversation, I can say, oh, by the way, do you know anybody who?
Yes, I do believe it's really, you probably heard this. Hey, it worked again. Look at that. Do check that out, because the last thing you want to do is just get nailed for fair housing violations. That's the worst thing in the world to do.
Okay, I was going back to educational content. Oh,
hold on. Yeah. We got a little chat thing there.
We got a chat going on. Here we go. Yes.
When can you?
How do you send bulk emails without it going to spam?
So, yeah, that's a tough one. So you don't want to blind send to everyone. That is a really quick way to get yourself nailed onto the spam list and your stuff not to get sent out at all. Really, you should be just doing your 36 touch either on your sphere of influence, the people you know, because they've opted into you at some point in time, your leads through your lead generation, because likely during your lead generation, you've had them opt into receiving something from you. If you do Facebook ads, there's always that on the Facebook lead gen form that they allow you to communicate with them and that kind of stuff. I would not pull a list of people and then just start bulk sending them stuff. The likelihood, is your email is going to get nailed as a spam emailer and your stuff is just not going to go out to anyone. I would use some kind of email marketing system. In Command, we do have that. You have MailChimp as another one. There are several different programs out there for you to utilize with that. So look into one that works best for you and your budget with that, and just really try to stay away from sending thousands of emails out every month, because the likelihood is very high that you will get hit as a spam email.
Yeah, I'm really good at getting hit with the spam email because I have like almost 10,000 people in my database because I've been doing this for 20 years and I'm all about lead generation, right? So
we had another chat come up there
There
real
we
quick.
go.
Hold on.
500
Oh, no,
contacts.
you're not going to send one at a time. In these email campaign type of systems, you can bulk send them through the system, through command. I'm just going to use this as an example because I'm an expert with this. In command, there's a template that's set up and you can use what's called merge fields, and it will select the first name, last name, and other information that these merge fields use so that you can basically create one email that sends out to everyone. If you want to separate to the different groups, say you have a group in your sphere that are religious, obviously you're going to talk to them differently than the people that you graduated high school with. You're going to make like 2 different emails that you're going to send out to those groups. If you're talking in a very, very specific language to them. If you're just talking general real estate or general lending, you can do that all in one type of email. But in those programs, typically there's some kind of merge field that will pull their information, whether it's their first name, last name, email, whatever it is.
Yes. I highly suggest at least a few times a year doing educational pieces where you're networking with your partners and you're leveraging them, like I leveraged this guy for this specific one, right? Because those are like special client events when you reach out to your sphere. I get calls all of the time. Oh, Marissa, thank you so much. My sister's actually looking to buy, or she's looking, tax season is coming up, right? So taxes, talking to your tax accountant right now would be a good time. It only takes less than a week to prepare for you guys to have your tax accountant come and do a call like this, put it out there to your entire database, because taxes are something everybody needs help with, and there's so much they don't know.
Speaking on that, and it's actually a really good idea too, is every so often you'll have video in your emails. Video speaks more, engagement is much higher with video.
Mm-hmm.
Certain programs will allow you to embed a video directly into the email where you can watch the whole video in the email. One of those is called BombBomb. Another way you can do it is you can do it through Gmail, record whatever you're doing. If you're meeting your tax accountant and having them talking about what preparation things people need to do for the upcoming year, you can record that, throw it on YouTube, and you can insert that the hero image of that video into the email, and then they can click on that and watch that video as well. So definitely having some kind of video engagement is super important nowadays because, again, we crave and consume video more than we do just regular plain text.
And this is where it comes in, you guys, things of value. Because if you were to email, think about it. If you were to send an email out I send an email out to Vince on tax preparation, right? Mm-hmm. Who's he going to forward that email with that video to that has all of our contact information? His family and friends, right? So that's the power. You can utilize the email in just like a social media platform. It's just based on the type of content you're putting out there. That's why video is so important. And that's the power of utilizing email with those strategic partnerships, right? I'll tell you, for instance, I had a lawyer reach out to me and I'm like, booked 2 months out. He wants to come in because he came across an email that went out on my tax preparer had sent out. And we were talking about, probate type stuff. So he's like, I want in on your podcast. And I was like, okay, sure. So, if you do things consistently, you'll have people, I don't know how he got that information, but he did, reaching out to you, wanting to put more value out there to the world.
So another thing to add is not really related, just kind of popped in my head. Email open rates. Generally, industry standard, roughly average, 30% of however many you send it to actually open your email. If you're getting over a 30% email rate, you're doing awesome. Really, honestly. Email isn't as high on the chain anymore as it used to be. So if you're getting 30%, you're doing great. Don't feel like you're failing at that. If you're doing over 30%, you're awesome. If you're doing under, this is where the A/B testing comes in to kind of help bring you up to that 30%.
That's good info. Yeah. Now, do you suggest, say there is something of importance, like a webinar, going through and sending out, a text to, hey, just sent yada, yada, yada.
So I think if you're doing some kind of important event like a webinar where you're talking about taxes, we'll just keep using that example because that seems to be the theme of the day. I would definitely send out some kind of email prior to the event, some kind of video, maybe partnered with it with the partner you're doing it with. Also sending out a text message either the day that you send out that email or a couple days before the event, so that you're reminding them, because all of our busies are super scheduled. We may not put it into our calendar, and having that extra push to remind people to come. Make sure you're including whatever link or location or whatever it is where your event or webinar is going to be held, so that they know exactly where to go is important in that text message as well. I would refrain from sending yet another email, because remember, 30% open rate, we're trying to reach as many people as we can. A text message is more likely to be seen, because honestly, can we live without these things? I think most of us can't do it anymore. So likely they're going to see that text message. They're going to open it, at least open it and read it. They may not respond to it, but you're more likely to get people to engage with that text message.
So Vince, what would you say the best way to utilize your database and email campaigns for a follow-up system?
I would say probably sticking with that 80-20 rule of 80% personal, 20% business related. You're still trying to keep them top of mind when it comes to your industry. Your follow-up is going to be general until it needs to be specific. Specific is when they've raised their hand and said, I want to be involved in whatever services you're providing. Right. Once you get to that point, then everything changes. You're now in a very specific type of communication. And that is now you doing what you do best, is talking to people and finding out what it is they need, and now providing them with the services to help them succeed in whatever it is they're trying to do.
And this is where you guys have an opportunity to leverage other real estate agents, right? We're always doing different things. Like we had our huge, we had the turkey thing, the turkey drive, right? We definitely could have used more volunteers. So I wouldn't have mind sending out that information to my database, right? So that we can invite more people in just to be a part of something bigger, right? And then they're seeing a different side of you, community. So you find out, know what's going on in your offices, find out what events that you might be able to shed value, because you are then marketing to your database. It might be for something else, but it is for you, right? And the biggest value that I find in staying on top of my email campaigns, and I get a lot of opt-outs, you guys, and I'm okay with that. Like it doesn't bother me, because I'm always putting more people in.
It's part of the game. That's the thing, is you got to realize people opting out, it's going to happen. You cannot stop that.
Yeah.
And don't get stuck in that. That's the big thing. When you see the opt-out starting to happen, don't get stuck there. What you need to do is continue finding more people. Part of KW and part of the MREA, Millionaire Real Estate Agent, is you need to feed your database. That's part of one of the rules that we live by, feeding your database. So if you're feeding your database, those opt-outs are going to start to get smaller and smaller, because you're putting more people into that database. Right.
Yeah. So and I know what I put out there is of value to who wants to receive it. Right. So you just have to keep positive when it comes to that. Do not worry about opt-outs, especially if it's your aunt or your sister.
Yeah. My sister opted out of my stuff, so it happens.
My aunt did, so we're good. Okay. What questions do you guys have for us so far?
If you want to come off mute, that would be great, because we're on a phone. It's hard to see the chat sometimes. So
your whole family has opted out. Yeah. Yeah.
If you can come off mute, that would be great. If not, I totally understand. You'll be seeing you do this. So
do you guys have questions for us? I would love to find out from you guys, since you're on here, where are your hiccups? What are you seeing?
Doug, I saw you come off mute.
Yeah,
I think just separating.
I've been doing a Gmail, email campaign for a long time. I heard that you can best to only send 30 at a time. So I will send 30 at a time up to about 500 people, and my open rate, God, it's ridiculously low. And so I don't
So
know,
I think what you're doing is you're
spam,
doing
or it's my subject line, or it's my content, or they don't like me personally, or whatever.
So the way you're doing it too is you're doing it directly through Gmail. So yes, you are limited on the amount that you can do through Gmail before Google says, hey, you're doing too much, we're going to lock you down. So with that, you've got to be extra special on when it comes to your testing with your subject lines with that. You're going to grab a certain amount of people and you're going to send those first 2 days of your 30 emails that you can do out to those test group people. And then once you figure that out over the next 5 days or so, I would then go, okay, this one worked. Everyone else is going to get this one over the next amount of days, however many you can do 30 of. Honestly, I would also look into doing like MailChimp. MailChimp is free for, I think, 3,000 people. You don't have to pay a single dime to it. So you may be
Free
able
for
to
3,000 a month? Up to
3,000 sends a month. Yeah.
Okay.
So I would definitely probably look into that. That'll probably help you out a little bit more with getting those emails out in a better fashion.
Yeah, Doug, you won't be shadow banned from Gmail.
They're all
Yeah.
they're very organized on Gmail. Past sales, neighborhoods, farming. So I'm pretty happy with that. But I just don't know if it's just going to spam or whether the 30,
It's possible
30
with your
is.
Gmail. It's definitely possible. If they've marked you as spam, the likelihood is that Gmail picks up to it and it just starts getting the spam folder automatically.
Have you ever
Doug,
heard
what's
30 minimum it helps? You ever heard there's a smaller amount would help, like 30?
Gmail is really weird. So if you're sending from a personal Gmail, it's very strange.
Yeah.
If they see you acting like a business or a spam type of thing, they really lock down the system on you. So it's really difficult to give you a number on that aspect because of that.
Okay.
The less you do in groups, the better off with Gmail, but you're going to have to do it every day then. And then Google will see the overall picture as well and kind of go, oh, wait a minute, they're trying to fake the system. It's strange. I would say either get on a professional Gmail account through Google or going to MailChimp or some kind of email marketing system.
Doug, what CRM do you use?
CRM. I use they're all in Google. They're all in Google under
just using Google.
Many different categories, past sales, prospects, everything. Is that what you mean?
Yes.
So usually the main system that a lot of the brokerages uses has some kind of email marketing system built into it. If you're paying for something and not utilizing it, I would definitely look into that. If you're not paying for anything and you're not using something like we have with Command, look into MailChimp. They'll help you out.
MailChimp is very user friendly. And it will help you a lot with your issue you're having.
I hope, I think. I do get people that open them up every once in a while. I do get people that respond every once in a while. I do get people that opt out. So I'm just this so small 10% or whatever are opening. So
but the testing will help you quite a bit. So are you familiar and have you used ChatGPT?
I'm starting to learn about that myself.
Okay.
Not very.
I guess we're going to have to do a chat.
We'll do a ChatGPT class just for you, Doug.
I just want to be a real estate agent. That's all I want. I don't want to learn all this other garbage.
What do you got going on, James?
One last thing, then I'll stop taking up your time. Because of the follow-up in the beginning, could you guys introduce yourselves again?
I'm
Vince
Catapano. I'm the market center tech trainer here at the Fair Oaks office and our Natomas office. I've been also a realtor for the past 4 years. I'm also a Keller Williams Labs advisor. I do a lot of testing and not programming anymore, but testing with the company as a whole on the technology that we're rolling out to all of our agents.
And he goes by the Darth Vader of real estate.
Dark Lord of real estate.
Dark Lord. I like Vader.
I'm a big Star Wars fan.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I'm Marissa. If you guys don't know me, I'm the assistant team lead at the Keller Williams Sacramento office, but primarily I do mortgage loans. That's my thing. So the last 20 years, I educate real estate agents in how to get business, how to leverage through lending, and I'm all things lending.
And did you say Sacramento?
Yes.
Okay.
Sac Metro.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Jamie, what was the
Sacramento?
question you were gonna ask?
Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you. I didn't catch any of
I
that in the
forgot.
beginning.
Okay.
Everybody else knows you.
Yes, yes. Well, if
Okay.
you guys ever have any questions, you should have my cell phone number. I'm always available there. You know, at my time, this is what I love to do. You know, whatever is going to help you guys grow your business, I just want to be a part of that, especially going into the new year. So thank you so much for joining today. And thank you. I mean, this was a hot mess. He showed up exactly at 2:00. Screen him afterwards. But I appreciate you guys pivoting with us with our little technical difficulties. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have a blessed day, you guys. Happy New Year.
Talk to you again. Bye.